Hello, my name's Adrian, and today I want to talk about Ico, a true PS2 classic. Before I get talking really about Fumito Ueda's amazing game, I think it's worth just saying that Zelda is my favourite series of all time, and finding games similar to Zelda has been a real challenge for me. Well, Ico is the game that broke that trend, and I am a true fan of this masterful game. The overall look and feel of Ico reminds me heavily of Twilight Princess. Some of the puzzles found in Ico would fit in nicely in any Zelda game. Plus, the giant castle that Ico is set in has a few clear comparisons to the giant temples found in most Zelda games, albeit on a much larger scale. Simply calling Ico a Zelda clone does feel a little unfair though. There are more than enough differences to help make this classy game stand out from the crowd and stand on its own 2 feet. The game starts with quite a gloomy intro where a young child named Ico is locked within a tomb inside a giant castle. Ico was ultimately sent away to be sacrificed. Why, you may ask? Well, Ico was born with horns, and this is a big no-no in his village as they fear he may be possessed by a demon. Luckily for Ico, a tremor soon sends his coffin toppling over a ledge and he is able to escape his shackles and begin his treacherous escape mission. Things get even more complicated very quickly as Ico manages to rescue another imprisoned child named Yorda. The complication levels go up another notch when it becomes clear both Ico and Yorda speak different languages. This sets the game up perfectly as dialogue is kept to a bare minimum and actions certainly speak louder than words. This again reminded me of the voiceless Link, but also the amazing Another World, which apparently influenced Ico on the PS2. Controlling Ico, you must work closely with Yorda to traverse your way through various sections of the castle. It's a huge compliment that you almost feel so attached to the game's protagonists and are desperate to keep them both safe from harm. I soon got swept up in the game's narrative and was ready to help Ico and Yorda on their perilous adventure. There's no health bar, point tally, infantry or anything else to distract your eyes apart from the amazing graphics and setting of the ominous castle. This very bare bones look was actually one reason that the initial preview shots of the game failed to really grab a lot of attention from consumers and critics, simply because of the unassuming screenshots. The use of lighting, textures and eye-catching landscapes in the distance really set the scene for a truly open feel. This is an area where the game truly excels. You often find yourself in a very open part of the castle and it seems like your routes and options are limitless. However, the game subtly moves you forward without you really ever realising it. I don't think there are many better looking games on the PS2. Ico is simply a piece of art. The gameplay can be split up into 3 key areas: fighting, solving puzzles and making your way across different landscapes through jumping and climbing. I feel the game excels in 2 of these 3 key areas. One weakness in Ico is the relatively simplistic fighting elements. You really only have one type of enemy in the game, shadowy figures that can knock you down longer than Mike Tyson in a Hangover film. Your choice of weapons is limited to mainly sticks and swords, and defeating a typical shadow monster will only take a little clever movement and sword swiping. The fighting elements, which appear at different stages of the game, do ramp up the pressure, as Yorda can be caught and flown over to a dark shadowy hole that opens in the ground. Leave her too long and she is sucked into this hellish hole and the game grinds to a halt. Personally, I would have loved to see a few new weapons and attacks brought into the game. However, you could argue this would possibly overcomplicate things. My favourite area of Ico is easily the puzzles. You feel very proud once you finally work out the correct sequence in reaching different areas of the castle through canny thinking and sometimes a lot of trial and error. Ico's puzzles are fun but fair and often need you to take a good look around you and work out your surroundings before putting all the pieces together. The use of lighting torches, spinning cogs, shunting metal boxes and pulling levers will all become second nature to you after a few hours playing this amazing game. The jumping and climbing aspects of the game have also been executed very well, something not all 3D platform titles can boast during the PS2 era. I was very impressed that the game's 3D environment really balanced the look and feel of the game while still allowing you to leap and climb around the castle with relative ease. This was achieved through a very polished and simple control system and the clever way the screen pans around your location. I would also like to give a lot of credit to the game's character animations. Just watching Ico leap from one platform to the next was expertly captured on the screen, and it reminded me of the good old classics Flashback and Another World. Just watching Yorda jump and grab onto your hand for dear life always sent shivers down my spine at how terrifyingly accurate it all seemed on screen. My favourite in-game character animation is probably one of the more simpler ones, simply grabbing Yorda's hand. To move on to a new room or area of the castle, it is highly recommended you take Yorda with you. The way Ico grabs Yorda's hand and almost physically drags her around the many areas of the castle is both brutal and amazing to watch. Let me just say that I wouldn't want to see Yorda's chiropractor fee at the end of her adventure. Overall, the game's story chugs along at a great pace with a few short but intriguing twists and turns throughout. There is, however, quite a sudden and sad change of pace towards the end of the game, but I won't spoil that for you. I cannot recommend this game enough. The positives hugely outweigh the very few negatives, one being the game is quite short and can be completed in around 6 to 8 hours. Completing Ico felt so satisfying though, and I am now eager to try out Fumito Ueda's highly acclaimed follow-up and the prequel to Ico, Shadow of the Colossus. Overall, I give Ico's graphics 94%. They look absolutely stunning, really lovely on the eye. The sound and music is very atmospheric, so that's 89%. The gameplay is brilliant, 94%. Difficulty, it is a challenging game, 90%. Longevity, it's not the highest score because it can be finished in only a few hours. I still give it 83%. Overall, I give Ico 92%. One of the best games I've played on the PS2. I highly recommend it. Play it today.